What's up everybody? It's Lama from MadeGains, and what we're gonna get into in this video is how to make healthy, high protein pancakes. So with this meal, we're gonna hit around 40 grams of protein, which is a really good mark for maximizing muscle protein synthesis in a single feeding. And I'll drop some science on that later on in this video. The whole thing should only take about 10 minutes to make, and all the ingredients are pretty much healthy, whole foods. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you this recipe sheet with the instructions, ingredients, the macros and calories, so you can always reference it later on. I'm also gonna give you some tips on how to make this either higher calorie or lower calorie, depending if you're bulking, cutting, or maintaining. So to start, you wanna make sure you have a good blender, because we're gonna throw everything in here, and that's gonna blend everything up to make the batter. The first thing we're gonna start with is an egg. So we have this, crack that. Make sure you don't have any shells going in. Oh, that always seems to happen. It's all good though. So you got one whole egg, which is gonna have some healthy nutrients and some protein. If you haven't watched my egg video, I'm gonna reference it up in this video. Next, you wanna get some egg whites, and we're gonna go about a half a cup of egg whites just to add some more high quality protein. So to top off our protein intake, we're gonna go with some Impact Whey from MyProtein. And the reason I personally use MyProtein is because they get third-party lab tested and they always score really high. They score around 90% plus. And what that means is what they claim to have in it on the label actually gets tested and actually is inside the product. So we're gonna throw a scoop of this whey protein in here. I personally like chocolate. So one scoop along with the eggs is already 20 grams in the scoop of whey, maybe 6 grams in the whole egg, and we're looking at about another 15 grams with a half a cup of egg white. So right there, we're at about 40 grams of protein. Next, I'm gonna throw a little bit of oats in there. And when I say a little bit, I'm talking about like a third of a cup. You don't want a lot, especially if you're cutting. You wanna keep your calories low, but having some oats in there is gonna give it a little bit of thickness. Next ingredient is a banana, and this is gonna help with the fluffiness of the pancakes and along with the the nutrients of the banana. And I'm only gonna go with a half of a banana, right? We've already got a third of a cup of oatmeal. We're already getting kind of high on the calories. So I'm only gonna go with half a banana and stash the other one in the fridge. So next is a little bit of cinnamon. Got some baking powder, and this is really gonna add some fluffiness to these pancakes. This is brand new. So between the whey protein and the oats, this already can be a little too dense, right? So what I'm gonna do is slap a healthy amount of baking powder, probably 1 tablespoon, and then just a little bit of almond milk. And when I say a little bit, again, we're talking about a third of a cup. And that just doesn't get too dense when we cook it. So that's our main ingredients. Now we're just gonna blend everything up. While the blender runs, let's look at some research on how much protein we should be consuming in a single meal to maximize muscle protein synthesis, which is a process of building muscle. Now, there's a lot of research on this subject, but we're gonna look at this 2018 review paper by Schoenfeld and Aragon. So in this paper, they actually recommend between 0.4 and 0.55 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per meal. So for example, if you were 180 pounds, which converts into 82 kilograms, you would consume 32 grams on the low side up to 45 grams on the high side. So that's sort of the range you want to be in, and that's exactly where these protein pancakes fit. So you want to set your stove to medium heat. And one thing you may notice is that the batter isn't as thick as you're used to, and that's actually totally normal. I noticed that when it's a little more watery, it actually comes out softer in the end. So to grease the pan, I like to use a very small touch of butter, just enough to get the pan greased so the pancakes don't stick. And this is the last pancake that I made. The one I made before, I forgot to hit the record button, and that's why I didn't get it. But that's why you see me dump the rest of the batter into the pan. So you want to cook each side for a couple of minutes until the entire pancake is cooked all the way through. So with the ingredients and the amounts that we used, you can make about 2 or 3 pancakes. And I actually recommend making 3 unless you're in a rush, like I am, right? So I just made 2. One was thicker than the other, but that's perfectly fine. So what I do is cut them in 4 and only put syrup along the top. That way you get away with using a little less syrup, which really is just sugar and extra calories that you don't need. We just want enough for it to be flavorful, right? So stacking them, put them on the top is better than having the pancakes off to the sides by themselves and then having to put syrup on every single one. So there's a couple bonus tips on how to either increase or decrease the calories on these pancakes. Now, the recipe that we followed was pretty low calorie already. We only use 1/3 of a cup of oatmeal. We only use 1/2 a banana. So we kept the carbs and the general calories pretty low. But if you want to even be even more aggressive on the calorie cut, one thing you can do is get low calorie sweeteners, right? Some sugar-free sweeteners that taste pretty good, but are going to bring the calories even lower. As far as spraying the pan, instead of using butter, you can get some of those sprays. Those are also very low calorie, but overall, the recipe that we followed in this video was pretty low calorie. So if you're looking to gain weight, say you are on a lean bulking phase, you're trying to put on more size and more muscle, and you want to increase the calories of this meal, there's a few things that you can do. So the first thing is to use a whole banana instead of using a half banana. That's going to really bring up the calories in this meal, maybe even make it a little more fluffier. The second thing is to use whole milk instead of using the almond milk. Almond milk is very low calorie. It's about 30 calories per cup. So if you replace that with whole milk, you'll get a little more protein, you get a little more calories. Another thing you can do is to increase the amount of oatmeal that you put in it. So instead of using 1/3 of a cup, use a half cup or maybe even 3/4 of a cup of oatmeal. Just make sure when you do that, you increase the other ingredients that can keep it a little softer, like adding more milk. So, instead of a half cup, use a whole cup of milk. That's sort of going to keep things even when you actually cook it. As promised, if you want to download the free reference sheet, just go to madegains.com/protein pancakes. And you'll be able to download this reference sheet that's going to have the instructions, ingredients, the amounts, and the calories and the macros. So that's the end of the video. Hope you found that beneficial. More importantly, I hope you guys enjoy the pancakes when you finally do make them. Now, if you mess up at first, don't get discouraged. Keep trying, keep playing, adjusting the ingredients and the amounts until you find what works for you. But ultimately, once you get the hang of this, you can get this done in 10 minutes and you have a fantastic high protein breakfast that you can always enjoy. So if you enjoyed that video and you'd like to help this channel grow, don't forget to like the video, comment and subscribe and turn on post notifications. And also hit me up on Instagram @MadeGains. I'm always posting science-based information for building muscle, dieting, and workout videos and things of that nature. So once again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.